Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review, and once again it is time to expand that Gundam Build Divers Armory, because today we're going to be taking a look at two brand new core Gundams and one optional weapon set. That of course is High Grade Gundam Build Divers or Kit number 42, Core Gundam 2 G3 color, High Grade Build Divers or Kit number 43, which is Core Gundam 2 Titans color. Both of these are of course exactly the same as the Core Gundam 2 we would have seen with the Yreven color, just a color swap, and it is nice to get them separate. And the last thing we'll be looking at is Kit number 41, the Tri/Blade that we would have seen with the High Grade Tri-Age Magnum. Just this time it is color swapped from green to purple. Anyway, as always, this video right here would not have been possible without those absolutely awesome people over at HobbyLink Japan. So if you want to buy some gunpla while supporting the channel, there is an affiliate link down there in the description. But let's get right on into this review. So the first of these kits we're going to take a look at is this one right here, which is the Core Gundam 2 G3 color. So just like I mentioned already, this is physically exactly the same as the Core Gundam 2 we would have seen with the High Grade Yreven Gundam. All that's different is the color and, well, the fact that this is sold separately, because all of the other armors after the Yreven all have no Core Gundam 2, so this is pretty cool that we can finally get one. Once again, it is the same, but it does say on the side of the box, this particular color variant is for use in space. But when it comes to the model kit, exactly the same. Inside of the box, this is a very simple kit, just 3 standard runners, a set of polycaps, and some stickers. This does not take too long to put together, as you would expect. The stickers are exactly the same as what we would have seen with the Core Gundam part of the Yreven Gundam, but we do have 2 new Build Divers icons in here. These little symbols are pretty cool, and I will talk about those a little bit more in a couple of minutes. However, I will also mention that a lot of the joints for using with the Core Gundam 1 armors is included here, so this doesn't really mean a lot on its own in this particular kit, but if used in conjunction with the leftover parts that come inside of the Anima Rize kit, well then you can build this Crystal Earth 3 armor, because in that kit you are missing the joints to make these extra parts, but the parts are in this kit, so that is a pretty awesome extra. So jumping right into this particular Core Gundam's accessories, and here it is with absolutely everything that it comes with. So the first thing I will mention, and Bandai seems to do this a lot, is, well, there are beam saber handles up on his back there, as you can see, but not a beam to be seen in this kit whatsoever. So Bandai does this quite a bit with these build kits. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they assume you have some lying around. You may not. But if you do want to use those beam sabers up on the shoulders, you're going to need to supply your own beams. As for what we do have in here, we've got that big old shield, the Core Hanger 2, and that's what it says here, and I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I don't recall this ever really having a name per se, besides the planet system, but that's the Core Hanger 2. We also have the Core Spray Gun, and 3 alternate hands. 2 are standard holding hands, 1 is a widespread left hand, and as for the 2 hands we have attached here, these are those ones without the seam in them. So these are the type made out of one piece, so they do not separate in half, which means they give a better grip, but cannot hold any accessories that you will need to split the hand for. So that is nothing in here, so nothing to worry about. So taking a look at everything one by one, and first up here we've got the Core Gundam 2 in the G3 colors. These look great. The purple and green pop against each other so well on that, what I can only describe as a somewhat dark white. This is not a pristine pure white, it's a little bit duller, like it's got a bit of cool gray in there. Besides that though, it's exactly what we would have seen before, besides that new little sticker on the leg. For a foil sticker, this actually looks quite good. That's a nice little decal. And I would show it side by side with the standard Core Gundam, but I do have it encased inside of this absolute monster of a kit right here, and let's just say taking that out might, whoa, well, there you can see his head at least. But yeah, taking him out from in there might take a minute, so there instead is it side by side with a standard Core Gundam over here and the Alus Core Gundam over here. As for the equipment, once again it is the Core Spray Gun, the same as we would have seen, once again in a slightly different color, that is all. The Core Hanger 2, which doesn't really serve much of a purpose in this particular kit, besides just, well, being used for the underside here where you can store the hands. That is it. Also in here we've got that Core Defensor. Once again it can be held in the hand as a gigantic shield, can be stored around on the back, just like so. Just like we would have seen before with the standard variant of the Core Gundam 2 that came with the Yreven Gundam, this has a full transformation to Core Flyer mode. Once again, exactly the same as what we would have seen before, just in that absolutely beautiful shade of purple on white. That looks so good. Once again, this is one of those funny, just twist a few pieces, twist around the head and stick a shield on the back of its head kind of flight form, but it still works out quite well. That looks pretty cool. On to the next one. So next up in here, we've got this one right here, which is the Core Gundam 2 Titans color. Once again, this is exactly the same as what we just saw. It's just a color swap of that particular particular kit. This is the Core Gundam 2 in Titan's color, so that is the classic Titan's color scheme from Zeta Gundam, and according to inside the box here, this is for use under gravity as well as underwater. So the last one we saw was space, this one is land and sea. So jumping right on into the accessories, and here is the Titan's version of the Core Gundam 2 with absolutely everything that it comes with, and once again this is exactly what we saw before, so let's go through these quite quickly. First up, we've got the Core Spray Gun, this is in light grey. The Core Hanger 2, once again, light grey. All the same hands that we saw before, that is the ones here with no seam. These ones have the seam. This one is a left hand widespread. Next up and last up in here, we've got that shield, once again in those matching Titan's colors. Once again, that shield can be held in the hand for defense. It can be stored on the butt as a mega butt extender. Also, this can be used in the transformation. Once again, there is the Titan's color variant transformed into that Core Fighter, or should I say Flyer even. And there's an example of both of those side by side. So just to check out some of the armor on these, there is the G-3 color version wearing the fake new armor, and there is the Titan's version wearing the dubious Arch Gundam armor. Oh yeah, Bandai never bothered to make that one. Anyway, moving on. So anyway, there's the full 360 spin of the G-3 color version of the Core Gundam 2 wearing the fake new Gundam armor. So I will mention that I did use the V-fin and the forearms off of the Jupitive armor because there is no forearms or V-fin with the fake new stuff, and I didn't want to really use the head, but hey, I'll just throw it on just so you can check that out. Actually, that looks badass. I'm gonna go with that instead. There's that Titan's color version of Core Gundam 2 wearing the Yorevan armor with the torso of the Saturnix. Kind of wanted to go for a kind of inverted Gundam kind of color scheme here, and it definitely doesn't really match together that well. It looks okay, not great. I probably should have went with the full Saturnix. Anyway, that's what it will look like built up as a Gundam, or should I say a fully sized Gundam, and it looks pretty cool. So anyway, the last thing we have then in here is the Tri-Slash-Blade. Once again, this is exactly what we would have seen not so long ago with the Tri-Age Magnum, except instead of in green, it's in purple. So this is what we get inside of the kit. That is the sword itself with that extendo handle, the mantle segment, as well as a base adapter segment in purple, and this arm part for attaching it onto any standard backpack adapter. So as for using this as a mantle, this is very simple. Once again, using the standard RX-78 to revive for this example, you just stick that little arm segment in. This attaches into any standard backpack adapter, and this is what it looks like. Take any high-grade Gundam and instantly make them into a superhero. This is pretty awesome. The clear effect parts look great. This catches the light very nicely. It has a lot of nice articulation, and this is an awesome little cape. To change this then into the sword, it's very simple. Pop out the mantle, pop in the blade, close up those parts, add the two side guards on, and then slide out the handle. And this is it. This right here is one hell of a weapon, and it might be a little bit too much for our friend the Gundam right here. So let's bring in a little bit of a crazier and more purple Gundam to hold it. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and this is a bunch of stuff that we have seen before, but that does not make it any less fun. This is some awesome stuff. It's nice to be able to get some Core Gundams separately now. Too bad we can't get Core Gundam 1 just yet. That, to me, is a little bit better than this particular Core Gundam, which can be a bit loose in parts. But it's still an awesome little Core Gundam. The sword is big, badass, and awesome. And hey, who doesn't have enough Gundam swords lying around? Anyway, as always, thanks for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time.